It is a battle as historic and titanic as Europe herself. Manufacturing, football, attitudes, world wars, the Germans and the English when two tribes go to war. Once they were brethren, now sworn enemies, and it's Bad Skid Clapham, each the true leader of their respective divisions. A repeat of the EUCF final last year in which Clapham came up the victors. It is my pleasure to be Lorcan Murray, and a rare delight to be joined by the one, the only El Shack, the woman I call Shack House. And that's the opening score for Bad Skid with a brilliant hold. What do you make of that, El?
Perfect timing climbing up the tower just to catch the score there and appear to be slightly breathless. It's an epic journey up the tower of scaffolding to get to our commentary position with a very quick changeover with the previous game on field 6, sorry. Running into, I don't know, felt like 94 minutes almost with a Universe point.
Our game also went to Universe point. We had Iron Horse going up against Wizards. Wizards were able to win, going 3-point run to win the game 15-14.
That's the game I'm referring to. I just said the wrong field early on. This is field 6 now, right?
This is field 6 now. Bad Skid opening up on offense, converting with a plum, it must be said. So, Clapham looking to respond. It's a fairly well-established Clapham line. Oh me, oh my. Stobbs, Ford, Abrams, Mead, and that's an interesting addition for any of the fans watching at home. A man who led the staunch British homeland opposition to Clapham's dominance for many years. As we see, Jackson centers it back to Stobbs. Jackson, Mead, and what a hander that is to add to your retinue. Stobbs, swing it back out wide. Opposite side of the pitch. Ford pops it into the middle, the waiting hands of Wilson. Player who's going from strength to strength, Stobbs. Man who rarely makes a mistake. He's been losing weight and gaining attributes. Abrams, a beautiful shot into the middle. Jackson pops it to Stobbs, and they are looking smooth and easy. Mead goes for the big flick. Huck. Wilson's underneath it and collects it comfortably. So they made that look rather easy, didn't they, Al?
They did. Beautiful grab there. Sticking up the one hand and bringing it down. Plucking the apples off the tree.
Now he's showing off a wee bit when he catches that, and he just kind of, no, this is where I caught it.
Yeah.
Now look at me.
It's all right, we get it. You're tall. You got long arms. Don't
But
need
this
to
is
rub it in
what
my
Mead
face.
can bring to the table. No hesitation, deep shots from all his time with Chevy. Some Clapham really worked last season on introducing into their game, as it was one of the more common discrepancies. Well, they brought in this deep aspect. Something they want to utilize a lot more. Wilson, a perfect target.
That's right. So, a bit of the chatter on the streets is that the Clapham boys are favourites to win this game. But Bad Skid had that first score there. Did it very, very quickly. So it could actually, hopefully, be quite a close match.
I think it could very well be a close match. Now, the reason Bad Skid were able to do so well by their own supposition last season was because they weren't putting pressure on themselves. This year is a triple U double C year, so that pressure has got to be there in some form or another. Michael Butemuller with the disc. Holger Butemuller, the leader of this squad, the captain, the head of the Hydra, notably absent from this tournament. So how will Bad Skid do? Where will they turn to? Because right now, Florian Bowler passes it back to Muller. Muller with the disc. Floats it around wide. Comfortably taken in by Marco Muller. Looks to pop it down the line. Can't quite get it off. Instead goes for the cheeky little dish. Briggs being bodied out of the way. Well done by Marvin Vad Vogel. Vad Vogel, a guy to keep your eye on, not just because of that stylish hairstyle, but he's so quick and so sneaky. What a play! And that's exactly what I'm talking about, El.
Yeah, probably not the best pass there for the goal, but it did the job.
I always love the catch and the throw in the same motion. Just whip crack went his wicked tail. So let's just have another look at the work of Vad Vogel here. Immediately.
Yeah, probably could have taken a second to
I mean,
grip the disc a little bit better, but luckily the catch the catch was difficult and he did it all right to get the goal.
I mean, he's on the stream. It's important that he shows off. First dish, not quite enough. Go earn it. I know you want to.
Yeah, don't
Make
think he
yourself
had
famous.
any sort of balance there when he threw that disc, but it got into the end zone and was caught.
Look, Marcel Hartmann's, he's young. He's young. He's only 23, all right? His shoulders haven't been through too much. They can take a couple of knocks. As you can see, well, you might not be able to see, but just to the left of the end zone, Clapham tutoring, mentoring each other, the D-line talking about what they were doing wrong and how they can best address it.
All right, so disc coming in.
Oh, that's a big, big pull.
Very nice pull there.
So now, Stubbs with the disc. Will he throw a flick? He does. Well, that's surprising. Parslow plays down the line to Ford. Ford's got Yo going deep. Surely you send it to him. He is the crown prince of flight, as far as I'm concerned.
The old pick call, though, chopping off that momentum.
Stolen.
As the longer option was free, one might say, because of the pick.
Mark Prish with a big ask, as Yo's just going to chase that one down comfortably to collect for the score. So far, 2-2, no turnovers. And what do you make of the offenses we've seen so far?
The offenses of both teams has been, yeah, pretty good. Confident passes, nice momentum and nice flow, which suggests that really both teams need to step up on defense there. Just getting off those easy long throws there with Clapham. Bad Skid having to work a little bit more hard to get their goal.
It did seem like that. Bad Skid's second point. Bad Skid's first point they scored very slickly, with almost no opposition. On the field just behind, or just behind this one, we can actually see Fui, who were on stream earlier, taking on Chevron Action Flash. That game ended in a universe point victory for Fui yesterday. Chevron Action Flash looking to correct that today. As now, that D-line, marshaled by Funk. They feel it. Looking to set it up, and that's a big pull as they're chasing it all the way down. Bad Skid. Gonna have to get out of there quickly, but that is far easier said than done. Vad Vogel.
So right now we're seeing a bit more of a zone defense set up here by Clapham.
God, they're so deep in their end zone.
It's in the danger zone. They need to get it out of there, but they also need to make sure that they do not rush that, because they don't want to turn over the disc at any point here.
I like that huck fake by Marco Mueller. Vad Vogel's trying to get free. He's having an awfully difficult time of it, thanks to the physical marking of Philip Garner. And you can see the Clapham have reverted to man, and immediately they go for the deep shot, trying to recognize a bit of a battle.
Oh,
and
great
that
read on the defense there.
Great defensive effort by Chris Baker, but I gotta say, I think Marcel Hartmann just got caught underneath it, and I mean, he never really attacked the disc. He was just kind of waiting for it to come down to him.
Yeah.
Lackluster, and you're not gonna, unless you're hungry for that disc, you are not gonna get fed against this Clapham team. So Clapham with the first turn. Oh no, the disc is going back. Seems like there was a foul call. So, be still my beating heart and forgive my errant words. We're going to have to dial that one back ever so slightly and give Mueller another look at it. I really was rather disappointed with Hartmann's attempt at that disc, unless maybe he knew that the foul was coming, that's why he didn't attack it.
I feel he had no idea at all, but, you know, maybe
yep,
he
baseless speculation's what we're all about.
All right, so now...
Oh no, it's actually going back instead.
Yeah, so now just, all right, you guys sort out what's happening down there, and then we'll be able to talk about it.
In the meantime, we will talk about what else is going on. It's currently a fantastic game of Atletico taking on, I believe it's the Gentle Ladies on pitch 5. Atletico, the reigning EUCF champions, much like Clapham, the reigning EUCF champions, playing in front of us right now. Gentle ladies, going to give everything they can in these tight quarterfinal games.
Only, did you hear that?
Benjamin
Only
Funk.
commentators, someone just called us. How rude.
Well, they forget that we're the people with the mics and we can say whatever we like about people while we're up here.
That's right. And it
What
is
I'm going to say is they're all lovely people and I like being squirted with water while I'm trying to do my job.
Yes.
Benjamin Funk, front of the end zone. Thinks about the hammer. They've seen a lot of hammer fakes, haven't seen a lot of hammer throws. As now, he's still working on it. Big fake, but that would have eaten an awful lot of boot. Briggs, we know he's got a powerful flick. But a delicate backhand on this occasion.
That's right. Don't seem at all phased about being in their defensive end zone. Massive hammer.
Absolutely fantastic and almost picked off, but in the end couldn't get to Funk in time. Two people chasing after. Will they get there?
Oh.
No, they will not. Philip Garner with a world of pressure. Michael Budemuller and Vad Vogel chasing him down, but Garner gathered himself. Garnered some praise for that grab. I feel like you always bring out the best of my wordplay, Al.
Well, thank you. I was hoping that you might put your hands together for Clapham.
Yeah.
Clapham.
Philip Garner, excellent grab under a lot of pressure. Briggs, like you said, he was about 2 feet from his own end zone line, the back of his end zone line, and he puts up a hammer that beautiful and that accurate. They split Budemuller fantastically downfield. Funk makes the grab under pressure. Here's another look at that hammer. That is pretty, Al.
Very tasty.
So calm from Funk as well, because you see as soon as Budemuller lands, he is sprinting to try and close the gap to Garner.
Yeah, did well to get there in the end. He had a lot of ground to catch up, but just too good for the score there, pulling it down.
Speaking of catch up, the boys in red get the first break of the game, drawing blood, and now looking to go and get another one. Batskid gonna let that fly out. He tries to play it. It's risky.
No.
And now they're stuck in the back of their own end zone line. That's like getting a mortgage in 2007. We call it risky business.
They've done well, though, to get it out of the end zone, and they have just gone a massive huck, hoping to copy Clapham's returns, but just bodied out there.
Robbie Haynes bustling and bursting Butemuller off the disc. Now Clapham get to go again, looking for options. Rowledge, a recent addition coming over from Fire of London and a fantastic player. Plays it down the field. The waiting hands of Tom White, who's launched it deep.
Oh.
Raz throws his body at the disc, but unfortunately only comes up with dirt. And Batskid again just looking to play it straight away from within their own end zone. Waiting for options. Maybe they could do with calming down just a smidgen, but I'm not going to go out there and tell the Germans to do that. And I invite anybody else to do it. Vad Vogel trying to get free of Haynes. Haynes is such a dogged defender. Working so hard. Getting in a little bit of trouble, but I tell you, Muller is never phased. And now, bouncing back and forth, Hartman.
Oh, he did well to get that disc bent. Oh, few people taken out there on the sideline. There is a very small margin between fields here.
Vad Vogel.
Discussion about whether there was an offensive foul or whether he stepped in to his mark
Such a difficult thing to measure as well. If the defender was moving, then it's defensive foul, but when are you not moving on defense? I do think Robbie Haynes attacked the space that Vad Vogel was initially going towards. Because I always think it's about priority. Who got there first? And that's the person who's in the right. A bit more discussion, Vad Vogel. Really going to have a big game from him. One of the key handlers. We've already seen how creative he can be. Haven't seen so much of his expansive arsenal yet, but it is there. Always a threat.
All right, disc in.
Takes the dump, almost stolen away by Rowledge.
Oh,
Gets
again.
it back.
Marks are so close.
I really thought that was the time he was going to go for the deep shot. Instead, he opts for the smoother pass to Jörg Reinhardt.
An injury call down the field for Clapham.
Being helped off by Abrams. Abrams earning his nickname. Always looking after his boys.
Cute.
Yes, yeah, he's awfully cute. You forget because they're the bad guys, obviously, and you're always rooting against them. They're actually really nice people. Oh, the deep shot's on, but they decide against it. Reinert goes back into the middle to Budenmuller.
Oh, and that's a nice strong cut there into space.
Very well done. Muller with the disc. Waiting for options, tries to get it down the line, does so successfully. That's Budenmuller. Or Muller again. Thinks about putting it back inside, starting to run out of time. Takes the pop, just about gets it off to Hartman. Hartman tries to play it down the line, does. Reinhardt, front corner of the end zone. Vad Vogel stops on a dime and lets Haynes run past him, but seems to have some kind of issue.
Yeah, pick was called. Back in the end zone there.
Seems to be saying to Haynes, get behind me, Satan.
I feel that's probably not at all what he's saying, but
well, how about we go ask him? We can't. So we'll just have to assume that whatever I assume is correct.
Well, you know what they say when you assume.
No, I don't. I don't make assumptions. Reinhardt back. Muller. Stuck in a corner. Gets it to Vad Vogel, just up out. The break is available, but nobody's really making the cut, trying to body it up. And they're really addicted to this front corner, but Vad Vogel working very well with Marco Muller for the score. And Bad Skid able to tie it up at 3-3, but still a break behind.
That's right, good patience there. Had a couple of good fakes, but no one open on that break side. Having to wait, dished it off, and then got the goal himself.
Very impressive stuff. But I wasn't too enthused by how long they spent in that front corner. You see Vad Vogel here. Doesn't go for that break. No cut comes. The cut that does get initiated is too late in the stall count. Muller, it's a fantastic stop and go from Vad Vogel, but you cannot rely on that for every score.
No, needed a little bit more movement back in the end zone. Or maybe a bit less congestion. There was a lot of plays in that central position there.
A bit more swinging, I feel, would have really stood to them. But far be it from me to criticize the reigning European silver medalists as they look to surmount that almost immeasurable hump that is beating Clapham. Few teams have managed it. Even fewer still in important games. Salopsils hold a European victory over Clapham, but did it in the group stages before losing horrifically to them later on. Cusp have a handful of victories, including at a Bologna warm-up tournament earlier this season, but that was a trial, the final trial for this Clapham squad. They beat them yesterday, but beating them twice is the issue. Bad Skid still looking for a substantial victory over Clapham. Jackson with a fantastic cut, immediately abusing the open space in the poach and launches it deep. That's a skill he's really worked on adding to his game. Wilson's underneath it. We've seen him take down one already. And he comes close to getting two. If this goes down without a call, I'll be surprised. So colour me surprised, ladies and gentlemen. Bad Skid are getting right back into the action, playing it immediately into the middle. Liebersberger settles it around to number 19, a man who didn't give us his name or number. Budenmuller with the disc. Plays it into the middle.
That's right.
Islamaj.
Bad Skid looking frantic here as they just bring it in so quickly.
I love it.
It's
Goble, Christoph.
a bit of an issue here, back here with the player.
Oh, I believe Goble is going to give that back to Islamaj. Besar Islamaj, one of the younger players on this team, 22 years of age. Although I believe they have 4 players who are 20.
He's quite young.
Yes.
So discussion happening here. Possibly trying to establish a stall count. I don't think they've already made the decision about when it happened, what the infringement was.
This has really been an electric start to the game. Couple of protracted calls, 20 minutes in, 3-3, not exactly what I would have expected. But apart from the point that Clapham broke, this is the only other point with turns in it. As Bad Skid look to get that break back. You can hear the sideline calling IO, letting the defenders know what is what. 42 on 42.
Great, strong cut there.
Number 19, and that's a beautiful play to the back. Islamaj is completely free, and it's a fantastic throw. That is exactly the kind of moves Badskid have to be capable of pulling off if they want to be competitive in this game. Disappointing to see Ollie Gordon on the sideline doing a bit of stretching, trying to look after himself. He has been, and I personally think, the best form of his life this season and towards the end of last season, playing some of the best ultimate he's ever played. So to see him in trousers and a long sleeve, warming up and doing stretches on the sideline is a blow, just to me as a fan.
And are these guys going to Cincinnati?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's maybe just resting up now.
It makes sense. It does make sense. Both these squads will be going to Cincinnati. Badskid very disappointed with their performance in 2014. It was something that they really pointed to, that they wanted to do well in 2014. They really wanted to have an incredibly strong performance. They just recently kind of...
Yes, in some ways, didn't seem phased at all by the stoppage. Just got the disc back. 1-2, boom, in the goals. So you see here, nice pass to the side and straight to the front of the end zone. Pass from Mead and up to White. The old Big Tom White loves the score.
On the pitch or off? On the pitch or off the pitch, Big Tom White, always looking to score. Doing so excellently there. I think that was all down to James Mead, though. He got so low and just lasered that flick. I mean, I could have caught that. No, ask around. I'm terrible. On the pitch or off the pitch. So, Benjamin Funk, disc in hand, looking to make some music.
That's right. So
he's really leading this D line, I think, for Clapham. I've seen him like certainly strategically. I always felt like Briggs was kind of the spiritual leader of the line. Certainly in the last like 2-3 years, he's come on so many leaps and bounds and is always so fired up. Clapham coming out with a zone. Lots of tall bodies trying to get in Vlad Vogel's place. Not so successful, as you can hear the counting perhaps coming from the sideline. As Clapham looking to revert to man, and they do so comfortably.
Very quick call there to go from zone for only a couple of throws and then back to a man D.
Oh, and that deep shot is available, but they go against it, moving Rowledge to the floor. Hartman with the disc, gives it to Muller. Muller looking for options, nothing really on the break side. Remember, they're being forced flick here, so they're working exclusively down the break side currently. Well taken in by Hartman, able to extend out back to Muller. And now they're starting to just wait. Oh no, to Vlad Vogel. Oh, and again, he goes for the break side, but that one was just a little bit too soft and stolen away by Rowledge, although here comes a foul call.
Yeah, foul on the throw there has been called.
So it's going to go back. I believe that is uncontested as well by the very fair-minded Philip Garner. Vlad Vogel. Looking for moves, fakes the hammer. Doesn't look dumb for a very long time. Doesn't need to, I suppose, when he's got Marco Muller coming in as an undercut. I like that contact from Rowledge. You can see Clapham just kind of touching them up a little bit before stepping off and trying to stop those breaks. Let's see how it works. Badskid have been so good at attacking the break side on this possession. Muller calls for it. Briggs doing anything he can to try and swat away that pass. And there, with a lofty backhand, or a lofty flick break to the kind of open bowler, despite the fact that there was a considerably more open Hartman on the open side.
Call's been made. Back.
It was a peculiar choice. It was a peculiar choice to throw it to bowler when you have Hartman completely free. Let's have another look here. Now, this is the dump pass off to Muller. Briggs comes so close. Now here, you see Hartman completely free on the open side. Distracts the two Clapham defenders, and they hit bowler on the break side. This coming back. Muller looking for options. First resort to Reinhardt. Reinhardt pops it down the line. Hartman. Hartman is now in a precarious position. Muller getting physical. Madonna would love it. Back to Hartman in the middle of the pitch, although there's been a call downfield. Nico Muller, number 33. 25 years old. Marco Muller, 28, his older brother. Both integral players for this team, along with the Buten Mullers.
So again, players just discussing the call.
Hartman.
With Disc now coming back in.
And this is fantastic dump defense by Briggs.
Another call being made. It's been a long time down in this end zone. Several calls being made in the last couple of minutes.
Contact. These two teams like to play a little rough and tumble. When the Germans meet the English, there's always a bit of argy-bargy, and I personally love it. Hartman not opting for the man marked by Briggs. Instead goes to Van Vogel, who skips it in despite Garner's attentions. Very comfortably done. A testament to Briggs' defensive capabilities when Hartman didn't even turn around to look dump. Instead went, you know what, behind me isn't working. I'm going to Van Vogel. Let's make eye contact. Hit that break side. And jump it in.
That's right. So now, Bad Skid in the lead, I believe. Although our scoreboard is currently covered at this point, but it's 4-5. We'll find out in a moment. Yep.
So great response by Bad Skid there, Al. They go down early, but they win it back, and then they retake that lead, back on serve. Comfortable stuff.
That's right. Still Bad Skid now, just waiting for Clapham players to clear the field. Can they do the pull?
And here come Clapham. Something and Jackson, despite being out of bounds when he caught that, just wanted to play it from the sideline.
Don't think he quite realised where the line was.
I think he's saying he caught it with 1 foot in. Like, I mean, I'd be kind of okay with that. As an Australian, how well acquainted were you with Jackson?
Who? That's how acquainted I am.
That's rather harsh, one would imagine, but.
So disc is now in.
Stobbs gets the inside break to Abrams. Surprised he doesn't launch that. We know that's a weapon he has. He launched it the second time, and it's pitch perfect. And by which I mean the pitch length and picture. Big Tom White. BT dubs on the end of it.
Then back to 5-all. This game could go to full time, as we see here. Couple of fakes on that big throw, but there it is. Beautiful pinpoint accuracy. Waiting for the downfield receiver to get in an even better position for the score.
BT dubs. Excellent stuff by Abrams. True master of that OI kind of lady outside in flick. Yeah, I said OI and then outside in.
Yeah, I was a bit.
It's for extra emphasis.
Oh, okay.
Look at the throw. It's for extra emphasis. Makes sense.
So Clapham at one point have tried a zone, but only very briefly. It'll be interesting to see whether they bring that out in this defensive line or whether they stick with man. They seem to have a little bit of an advantage on match D, really making Bad Skid offense line work incredibly hard to get free of their mark. And they have gone with zone to start off with.
So, again, it's a little bit of a poachy zone. I can't quite hear them counting, as last time they abandoned the zone at around stall 5. Oh, and there's a beautiful hammer over the top, waiting for it patiently, Mueller.
Unfortunately, no options downfield, but nothing but space and time, but no options to throw to.
Marco, Nico, and then Reinhardt. And Nico working hard, stopping on a dime, losing his man, shaking him off like fleas from a dog and putting that one down. But here comes Haynes. Garner gets a layout D as well. And that is the second turnover we've seen from underthrown shots to the end zone. Limp is how I would describe that.
Yeah.
Flaccid.
They might be more familiar to the windy conditions of yesterday, where that throw would have just travelled nicely. But there is very little wind here today, so having to put a little bit more on the throws than in yesterday's games, going from right to left on your screens today.
So continuing the discussion, Haynes waiting to bring it back in. Butenmuller marking him. Fakes about that flick, and that is a vigorous fake. We love to see it. Cragg. Now this man can throw just about whatever he wants. A push pass is a strange option, but works. And there's Justin Ford, puts up the hammer. Well taken in, far from comfortable. Lots and lots of pressure on Andrew Hillman, but he is equal to it.
That's right. Clapham now regaining the lead, 6-5. As we see that replay here. Looking for some good options, just cheeky down the line, and huge hammer across, and plucked down with the defender either side of him there.
It was a nice hammer, and for a moment, when it initially went up, I thought, that's it, yeah, that's just Clapham scoring. But then you could see Bad Skid doing a good job of crowding around, getting close, but Hillman, that takes a lot of confidence and faith in yourself. So, Bad Skid, after getting a break back, and then holding, they give it up.
That's right. A few players leaning over there. They have been run pretty hard by Clapham's defence here. But they need to keep going to make sure that they stay well within 1 or 2 points of Clapham if there any chance to take out the game.
See how this goes for them. Bad Vogel, disc, middle of the pitch. Looking for options, gets one in the form of Muller. And they are keeping fairly shortened lines. A lot of the same names out here again and again. Just about squeezes that one down into the waiting hands of Bowler. He gets it to Reinhardt. Back into the middle, just about corralled by Muller. Muller can't get it off to Bowler. Pops that one. Van Vogel was about to go in one direction. Luckily hadn't committed entirely and was able to correct himself. Now you see Muller doing everything he can against Briggs.
Oh.
Lots and lots of contact, and I think he's going to let that one stand. That's a score for Bad Skid. They get the hold, 6-all.
That's right, working hard there. The two handlers slightly fortunate to get off a floaty pass there. If their defender had just stuck up their arm with their back to the disc, they may well have hit that one. But they got away with it, and now the scores are back to level. 6-all.
What do you make so far of this half? I mean, I know it's close, but Clapham have got that crucial break. They can cash that in if they get to half by holding. So this is a very important moment for Bad Skid.
That's right. I think for Bad Skid to start getting the extra points on the board and being a bit more of a strong contender, they just need to lift a bit on their defense. I think their offense is doing actually quite well against a very good Clapham D line, but they've shown that they can do it. They've just got to stop Clapham from adding to their score by increasing their defensive pressure, as we see them now running down.
James Mead to Jackson. Jackson to Wilson. Wilson to Ford. Plays it beautifully to Haynes, and he's got Mead running into space as well as Yo. A complete breakdown in communication. You can see Bad Skid talking to each other about it, trying to work out what went wrong.
Yeah, so that's good. It showed exactly what I was saying. They need to really improve their defensive pressure. Clapham just making short work of that. Couple of passes for the score. You do not want that to be happening that easily.
It's a bit disappointing, especially when two Clapham players are completely free. Like, it's a double blown coverage, simply a mistake in the communication. you would have to imagine.
That's right, yeah, you don't want your opponents to have a couple of options in the end zone there. Just being able to say, oh, no, you go. I'll get the next one.
And that was one of their 2 opportunities to get the crucial break to avoid Clapham from taking half and cashing in their chips on the start of the second half. So we'll see how Bad Skid can respond now.
So again, Bad Skid O-line that's been very similar lineup every time here. They've been working very hard to put those points on the board and not turn over the disc.
Reinhardt feeds Van Vogel. Middle of the pitch. Again, they're just a little bit lax, but now they're tightening it up. No zone, no tomfoolery, no counting. Just rock hard, man-on-man action. Hartman, Waldvogel barely even stopping. Doesn't get called for the travel, which you love to see. Butenmuller back in the middle of Waldvogel.
Oh.
They're getting riskier and riskier with every pass, but Hartman standing on the front corner. Juking, jiving, ducking, diving and dodging until Reinhardt gets free at the back. For the score, no call. 7-7.
Some really good movement there. Nice transitions through the middle. Probably, again, testament to Bad Skid's offense, with the scores being 7-all. As we see that replay.
It was great work by the front of Stack to attract all the attention, allowing Reinhardt at the back to make a single move and get the easy score. Not exactly the best technique there in terms of looking for a dump. He kind of did a 360, not really selecting anybody, for essentially relying on Reinhardt for the score. So 7-7. We have a name for this where we come from. Are you familiar with it?
I am now. I've only just heard it this weekend, and I was berated. Apparently it's something that everyone knows, which I disagreed because I then tried to explain it for the people at home who may not be familiar.
It's certainly something that we've been singing the praises of on Ulti TV for a long time now, because it was coined by Ulti TV's Master-in-Chief, Mike Palmer. So what is that phrase, Elshak? Smaller than a universe, bigger than a solar system. When you want to indicate something that's in the distance. Galaxy Point! As they say from where I'm from.
Oh, really?
Galaxy Point, kid. It's going to be great. So, this is the moment. Bad Skid need to get back their break. Because if Clapham can go in 8-7, they can come out 9-7, which is just dangerous. We do not want to play a game of catch-up against Clapham, which is basically the only type of game most clubs ever play against Clapham. So, a nice strong defensive line. You see the likes of Van Vogels coming out there.
That's right, a few of their O-line people coming out on their D-line here.
Muller as well, but first they're going to need to get that disc, because here's Abrams, thinks about the deep shot straight away. Van Vogel's got a big bid. Parslow there, almost goes for Huck himself, instead takes it to Mead. Mead is deadly, a surgeon with the disc. Incisively dumps it back to Ford. Actually loses some distance because he's so fast trying to slow down there. Abrams gathers the disc under a lot of pressure.
That's right.
But wears it well. Stobbs takes that one down as well, despite the best efforts of the incoming Bad Skid defenders. James Mead gesturing, gesticulating, delivering. Middle of the pitch, Wilson.
So
He's been abandoned in the dump position, but a horizontal cut from Mead was so difficult to stop.
Made.
And that one goes back.
A lot more intensity here from this Bad Skid defense.
I really like how they look right now.
Yeah, it's looking a lot better. Clapham really having to work to get the disc to this position. Now we're just having a bit of a discussion here to resolve the call.
But I mean, it seems like it's work Clapham are so comfortable doing. It's like asking a guy who owns a digger to dig you a hole. I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough, but he's well equipped. opposite position, trying to dig themselves out of a hole.
They have a player called Phil. So that's going to be handy.
Let's see how they do. Mead, thinking about options. Ball kind of goes deep. Second guesses himself. And that's just brilliant collective cutting. No one rushing, no one doubling, and eventually it's there for Yo.
Whoa!
And called for the score. Great spirit on display by Liebesberger.
That's right, and great avoiding the crowd there.
By Ashley Yo. That's got to be so tough. Liebesberger put in an absolute shift in that point. He spent the entire time shutting down Yo and then gets beaten open side by him at the worst possible moment. And that's all that's going to be remembered for him for that point. Yet Yo didn't come near that disc once until then. So here we see Abrams going through the motions, knowing that cut's a coming. Lovely little hurdle at the end of it as well, Al.
That's right. The crowd is quite close to the line here, and he was coming in at full pace to get that goal. So they now lead Clapham 8-7. Bad skid showing in that point though. The intensity of their D can lift. They do need to keep that up though to make Clapham start to make a few unforced errors.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, and the intensity of the D does tend to breed errors. As we get another look at a fantastic hammer. That was Briggs to Funk. Funk laying it out just one more time. Why not? Oh. Disappearing out of the vision of even our sky cam. That's how much he launched that bad boy. Nick Garner, so confident. Cool, calm and collected under that disc. So El, you've seen Clapham play now for a half. You've heard about them quite a bit. Are you impressed?
Yeah, no, they're a good, strong team. The players are all quite versatile, and the fluidity they play with, I guess, is testament to the amount of training and in times they've played together as a team. And all those connections are there, and second nature as they call their line now for the second half. Bad skid need to come out firing on defense and get a turn to probably stay in contention, I would think, at this point, with Clapham just seeming to have a little bit more of the disc.
So just there we saw the final score of the first half as we get ready to watch the first point of the second half. Would like to talk to you later on, El, about how you think Clapham would measure up against the likes of Colony in a triple U double C year. Seeing how the best of Australia would go against the best of Britain would be very interesting to me. Especially someone like you who's got far more experience in the down underworld of Ultimate.
Yeah, Colony's got a pretty strong squad. Quite a few players with world's experience for Australia on it. And did very well at our nationals this year. And I think they should do quite well, I'm hoping, at Cincinnati.
There's a huge rolling arcing pull. As here come Bad Skid, Mead fields it to Jackson. Back to Mead. Jackson. As you can see Bad Skid playing this zone, and Abrams just about able to corral that one. Locking it up. Great dump cutting from Mead. So aggressive, you have to commit or he will just keep going and burn you downfield. Haynes.
Good pressure on that disc there, stopping those long throws downfield, but now gets one off.
And Yo's just going to march that one down for the easy score. An absolutely fantastic throw. Comfortably taken in, and Clapham really seem to be rolling now.
That's right. So as you predicted, Clapham now 9-7. In a very good position.
So this is the danger I was speaking of.
Yeah.
When Clapham got that first break, I believe, to make it 4-3. If they can cash it in, now you're 2 points behind. That's considerably more difficult to surmount. And that mental side of playing Clapham starts to sink in ever so slightly. Now, we did see Bad Skid last year in the UCF final go on a 3-point run against Clapham to pull the game back within contention, but then subsequently concede 3 points in a row. So let's see how this Bad Skid O-line can come out here and respond to the coming threat of a Clapham blowout. Funk with the disc. Launches. And that one, I believe, is going to just sail out of bounds. Not entirely sure where it came inbound.
Yes, I also don't know.
I'd be willing to say it came in
Bad
pretty...
Skid's pointing down kind of mid-pitch short. Then
like
now this guy's pointing a lot further down than mid.
You see Kobla pointing down, and then you're like, and then you see Ford being like, nah, I'm pretty sure it's in the other direction.
That's right.
Like, I don't know.
I'm kind of going for the middle. Oh, no, you're going over there. But I think they're going to brick it either way, so...
Well, there you go.
Not too
Muller
sure
to Van Vogel.
why it mattered for these guys. If they're not... Oh, no!
Oh, and he was thinking about
That's
the throw
right.
before he got the catch, and now they're in trouble. Garner is so lethal down there, isolated. He's got a little bit of health coming to him.
Oh, great pressure, though, on that D.
Really nice dump pass in the end by Hillman to get out of that tough situation. He has it again.
But a pick's been called.
I believe that disc is going to have to go back.
Although Clapham defense has been putting a whole lot of pressure on Bad Skid and have gotten turns, that's probably one of the first unforced errors on a catch we've seen there. Really, as you said, I think just thinking 2 steps ahead about where he was going to put that disc, and he, you know, sold it before he bought it, or whatever the expression is. Something about cashing checks in money, I don't know.
Cashing checks, writing checks that your ass can't cash.
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
the one I know. Hillman,
I don't know.
front corner.
Counting eggs in baskets, something.
Crack that egg in your basket.
Yeah, that's definitely the expression.
Briggs
That's
to
it.
Hillman.
Let's bring that in.
Hillman looking to crack some eggs in these baskets right now and push that lead up to 3. Briggs gets it, cutting to the front corner.
It's the cat amongst the pigeons.
And it's getting well fed. And the lead goes out to 10-8. Or 10-7.
I think 10-7, yeah.
10-7, you're right.
I was like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that point.
So Bad Skid, an unforced error. Schoolboy mistake, L. Is there any tactical change they could make to pull themselves back into this game?
I think just keeping their heads up and really running hard, but going back to, I don't know, at some stage, Bad Skid just look a little bit frenzied, I'd say. But they do need to keep the pressure on, and but maybe a little bit more focus and finesse. And just taking a moment to chill. They've been fortunate enough to get away with a few cheeky rushed things earlier on, but Clapham now starting to just capitalise on any potential danger and turning it over and getting the score themselves.
You have to say how confident the grab that was as well. Like Biggs, he just kind of faked the up the line. All of the Clapham defense swarmed to stop that option, and it was such a casual just whoop over the top of the hammer.
That's right. Again, Paul just drifting out. At the end there, it almost
Well left.
landed in, but yes, we'll call that well left. Better than the one that was out the end zone that landed in. That was all unfortunate.
I'm stuck in a little bit of trouble that time, but this is one sticky wicket they've managed to avoid. Here comes Van Vogel.
That's right. He's looking at his sideline there, trying to guess the brick mark.
Yeah, I like the fact that. Well, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is kind of funny. Reinhardt with the disc, they just kind of guess where the brick mark is. Reinhardt looking for options. Gets one in the form of Bowler. Decides against it. Decides to go with it on the second time. Bowler with the no-look backhand to Mueller. I love it. That's the kind of flair you're going to have to start playing with.
Whoa.
They get away with that one. Hartman somehow takes it down despite the best intentions of Hillman. And Mueller with a beautiful throw. Waiting there to his brother, Mueller. There goes the push-off, decides against it.
Yeah.
Bowler with the disc.
Yeah, call's been made. This will go back. With the part lacking from their team, they have started to increase the intensity, as you start to see here, and that's working a lot better to slow down the Clapham flow that is so dangerous.
There's Tim Sanders.
And you might see a little bit there of a defensive foul being called.
It depends on if he was straddling him.
Yes.
If he wasn't straddling him, then 100% Sanders just pivoted directly in. Like, you can't just pivot through somebody.
That's right. So now they're looking at whether it was pivot or straddle and disc space and the likes. But there was definitely contact there. It's just a matter of working out whether both were at fault or which party was at fault. So, yep, so contested. Foul being the call, stall count being established and communicated.
Now Sanders waiting, being marked by Liebersberger. He gets off to Jackson in the end, who immediately puts a break side to Ford.
No, it's a big mark on defense, but oh, he's faked him out beautifully.
Briesch is a well-established talent in Germany, only 19 years old, the youngest player on Bad Skid, given one hell of an assignment, but was a key part of their EYUC team last year, leading from the defensive end.
Good position there from the Clapham player.
Jackson to Ford. And even through what seems like small passes that they barely get off. Oh, and they've called a timeout at stall 6. You see Briesch putting up the fingers and the thumb to let his team know that's at 6, baby. And he felt like he was in trouble. So this is a big, big moment for Bad Skid. They need to get a stop here. Do you think they can do it, El?
I don't know. Clapham offense has just been super good, pretty consistent. They haven't really done any throws that didn't connect or dropped catches. So Bad Skid are going to have to pull out something special to stop this, especially if Clapham's got a nice set play that they're going to run and have practiced 1,000 times. It's a big ask, but we're just going to have to wait and see.
We'll see. I think Clapham are going to get away with it. They're the bad guys. Bad guys always get away with it in real life. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. Well, you're going to stand here and try and dispute me that, El?
Yeah, you got to always look on the bright side of life, mate.
Doo-dum, 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 doo-dum.
See? Now.
Just before you draw your terminal breath.
All right, apologies to the audience at home there. I didn't expect so much of that karaoke
I love that song.
to take place. As Clapham start to set up for their play, they're probably going to run an isolate play here.
So Ford, a dangerous man with the disc. Potentially more dangerous without it. Seem to be trying to set up an ISO on Parslow. Remember how they've used these situations to draw all of Bad Skid's defensive attention to one area and then hit the opposite side with a break hammer or a break swing. They've done it twice already with remarkable success. And they immediately put that one up to Haynes, no hesitation.
Oh, and some fast running and fast movement here.
So now Abrams. Stobbs in the middle. He's got a lot of breaks. Goes with the flick. Parslow. Sanders tries to get free from Ford, is directly in front. Lots of contact between Ford and Briesch, leading to a little bit of conversation. So So a bit more conversation. It is a little distressing that the game is starting to descend into a bit of a chippy conversation. It is only 10-8 after 60 minutes. It was 3-3 after 20. So continuing in that theme effectively.
Yeah, so disc coming back. Almost central to the field, about 8 metres out from the Clapham end zone. Clapham with the disc. And
here
just a little bit of a...
we go. Nope, still moving around.
Too early,
Couple of calls of violations.
It's right.
And here
And everyone is now in position.
go.
Disc is in.
Stops, immediately goes for the break. There's lots of float. Two come under it. Priest comes to collect. Tries to lash it out. A huge layout deep from Justin Ford wraps him around the body of the intended receiver.
And again, bad skid. As soon as they had that turn, straight away plays it.
Curl with the disc.
At all, taking a moment to look at options and think, just saw the player through to him. And
oh, that's risky. Jackson tries to get there, but Priest stands tall and takes it in comfortably. Cobley with the disc.
Call's been made, I think, here.
Oh, I don't know what that call.
But I don't know what that call could be. We might see a replay there.
We should stop being so biased in our commentary.
I'm not biased. I just can't believe he called something because I thought he had
that's an objective observation.
I thought he had run through the bad skid player.
Oh.
So we'll have to wait and see. Here comes a replay now. Possibly. That's just a quick turn and that super quick movement there. We're not going to get a replay of whatever this infringement was called.
Uncontested.
But yeah, bad skid still maintaining possession.
So he's able to get it off. Cobley thinks about sending that one, decides against it in the end. Shite.
Right, good jump
gets
into
it down the line.
And
this man, though he is wearing Holger Butemiller's jersey, he is not Holger Butemiller.
And another pick called here. It's been a little bit scrappy recently, the play, in terms of our picks and fouls that have started to increase.
It was a little scrappy at the start as well.
Yeah, but
it's not that it's ill-spirited or bad-tempered. It's just there's a lot of contact when these two teams come to play. Like Parslow, you could see it in his eyes. He could have had that.
That's right.
As they pop it along Cobley.
This is a bit better. A bit more patience here from Bad Skid.
Oh, you absolutely had him.
Oh,
excellent rescue.
Great save. But here again, another risky disc.
And a bit of heartbreak from Cobley. You see he doesn't call anything. He knew he should have had that disc. He got a little bit under it. Ford fakes the deep shot immediately, trying to get the activity going. Gets it to Parslow in the middle. Parslow swings that one out. Haynes. And now Bad Skid are all over the place. Wonderfully done, stealing it and taking the disc. Liebesberger
yoinks it out of nowhere.
And they call a timeout. That's a smart one. When he doesn't have his attention completely occupied with Ashley O, he's able to do that kind of play. I thought Bad Skid were breaking down, Shaq. I thought they were in trouble.
Next thing you know, woo, out of nowhere.
Snatch. Stealing that disc away. Beautifully done. During this timeout, actually, might just give a quick moment to have a shout out to Holger Butemiller, the leader of this Bad Skid team. Why he isn't here this weekend is because he had a kid.
Oh, cute.
So congratulations. I assume you're watching at home, and if you're not, then clearly you've turned your back on your team and abandoned them.
He might be
what?
Nurturing his child.
Well, I mean, when it's been born, how much more nurturing does it need? Give it a stick, teach it how to hunt fish.
Is this telling us a bit about your background here?
No, I don't know how to hunt fish.
So 8-10 the score, timeout. Bad Skid in position. Position and possession is what I was trying to say was possession, but whatever. It's been a long day, and it's been...
It's like halfway through the day.
Yeah, but I've already done 5 games yesterday. Looking at all of us had the day off yesterday.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to.
And it was cold, so cold today.
You have had a very large blanket wrapped around you.
Yeah, well, it's still cold today, but it's a lot warmer today. The sun is out, and as you can see, not as many beanies on heads out on fields today. No people wearing track pants.
So, based on your limited knowledge of the European club scene, how do you think what do you think Bad Skid's chances are right now?
Of winning this game?
Yes.
Don't know. They're a little bit erratic for my liking. Clapham seem to have a bit more of a controlled game, and I do like that, but sometimes erratic can be exciting and hard to defend against when you don't really know what to expect from your opponent. I'm not ruling Bad Skid out. I like it. I like the underdog victory, and I feel they.
And are you viewing them as an underdog because it's kind of what you've heard, or you see them as the underdog based off this game?
I know that they got beaten by the same team yesterday.
Oh, okay.
15-9. So it's a lot better today.
They're making a much better account of themselves today, sure.
Yeah. Oh.
So get that down the line. Learning hard lessons. Goble looking to put it back in. He's forced to float that one up, but it's taken in well by Scheidt. He says no to Goble, says yes to Pritch. That makes sense. For a second I thought Goble was very free there. He turned that down.
He was.
But he gets it to the 19-year-old Pritch for the easy score. And that makes it 10-9, but they need 2 breaks still. And it took him a long time to get that one. And like I said, very chippy point. Really went on for a long time, especially once you include the timeout.
Yeah, yeah, very long time between scores here. Clapham, their head held high.
Clapham don't look at all flustered. I suppose why would they? In the lead, well worn, know what they're doing in this position. Yeah,
they're all right. Their heads are still up high. They're not at all despondent. They know how to control the flow and how to get themselves back in this game. But Bad Skid now.
They did give up 2 turnovers on that point.
A bit of a spring in their step, yeah.
Yeah, like Bad Skid coming up, rising up a little bit.
That's right. They've got a few of their offensive players on this D line here, so obviously hoping for a turn. And I'm excited. Well, I think I heard the word on the street, as I said, was that they were the underdogs. I didn't brandish them that.
No, they would be. They would be generally seen as the underdogs. I was wondering if that was more a perception you'd gathered during this game.
You know me.
Because if you have the ability to be cold and view this game, I'd love to get that kind of perspective.
I'm not that cold today. I've just mentioned that earlier. It's like only a 2 thermals, a shirt, and a jumper cold.
Oh, right.
Yesterday it was 7 layers, you know.
I do hear it's winter in Australia right now.
Yeah, it's warmer there.
Abrams played it to Yo. Yo on the sideline. Traveling all over the world. Gets that throw off without traveling. Oh, very nice. Mead in the middle of the pitch. That was a travel. Andrew Jackson.
I think they might call that one.
It's actually a little game you guys can play along at home and see how many players travel when they throw. It's like 99% of them. It's the same as with the stall-out rule me and Benji were talking about at the end of the last game, where they timed it out one year and they found it was an average of 7 seconds at the World Under-23 Championships. As here come Clapham, Andrew Jackson launching that one deep to Mum. Oh. No one near him, he's going to have to bid, and he does! Collects it for the score!
Takes a divot out of the grass. That was a massive layout.
Mum is the word. Always knew that was his, though. Never doubted he was going to get to that. I've seen that man commit time and time again. That was always going to be his. Let's watch it. Just a miscommunication. Nobody picks him up. Jackson lashes it. Mum goes and gets it. Tom Abrams, take a bow, son.
That's right. He comes off for a well-earned break there, and you can see he's, well, you probably can't see, but we can see he's covered in dirt after that. Very dramatic.
Kicking up a dust storm.
And now, again, Clapham, 2-point buffer, 11-9.
And Benjamin Funk with the disc in his hands. Gets ready to pull it. Loading Vad Vogel. They need the hold to stay competitive. Clapham with a bit of a zone. Again, not hearing much in the way of calling out the number of throws. But you have to imagine that blend to man is coming. Vad Vogel doesn't want to wait that long. Puts a lot of float. It's a big ask. Both Clapham guys get there well in time. And I think it has to be said they spooked Hartman more than they beat him. I think it was Hartman's fingers who actually got the final touch on the disc.
It's 2 to beat. Always a hard ask going back with the flight of the disc there.
2 very intimidating people coming at you as well, so.
Well, hopefully we'll just see a little bit more pressure coming here from Bad Skid in a turn, but given that they haven't had too many times where they've had to play defense, the offense line, it's going to be interesting to see what they can muster here.
As stuck on the front corner of his own end zone briefly was Wilson. Gets it to Funk, thinks about the hammer, Stake dishes it back to Briggs. And this is a big point for Clapham to really put this game to bed. Still looking, Garner, back to Briggs. It skips up in the air, but he was able to take it down. No look backhand to Funk. Very calmly done.
That's right.
Lots of spin. Slicing that one. And Funk, he's got a deep option. You know he wants to take it. It's Muller going up against Rowledge. Rowledge takes it down right in front of the end zone. Garner speeding past him. Waiting, looking for options.
Oh, and a nice down the line throw there.
Brooks to Briggs. Wonderfully done.
So Clapham now 12 to Bad Skids 9. Working it way all the way up from the defensive end zone. Pretty good pressure initially from Bad Skid there, keeping it down the field, but one breakthrough and then it was on like Donkey Kong.
And that's all it takes with Clapham. Constantly working it around. Chucking those barrels.
That's right.
Coming up with the goods.
Now we just haven't updated our score on our field scoreboard, but it is 11-9. No, I thought it was...
It is 11.
Okay, good.
There seems to be a little bit of discussion over
there
there
is
about
a little bit of discussion between the volunteers about what the score is, and they're now updating that.
What do you make of these signs, the scoreboards that we have at Windmill this year?
No. I don't know if I can answer that.
No. Well, if you can't say something nice. Vad Vogel, disc, middle of the pitch. Options, not coming. A real stagnation downfield. He's forced to unlock it using exclusively his throws. They dump it back. Bowler's trying to get free. And I wouldn't mind to see him with the disc in his hand a little bit more because he throws those tasty backhands. Briggs, or Haynes even, turned himself into a bit of a backpack. Muller floats that one up. It's out there perfectly. Chased down and collected by Muller.
Big call's been made. Oh, down, back up here in the middle of the field.
Well, I think it was
Clapham
Haynes
player is
after
down.
that layout.
Might see a replay while they deal with the injury, which maybe looks like a hip. Might have just, yeah, was off frame, and we were also watching the disc as it went down the field. So injury called. And Clapham making a few changes in terms of where their players are now. People moving around, going back. But it will be Bad Skid with the disc still. And the disc
And it starts again. Still looking, waiting. Budenmuller starting to run out of time. Goes to the left-handed flick.
Oh.
Or it was a backhand, but it was very much a flippant little flick into the end zone, hoping for the best. There's a call for a foul, which I don't think you're allowed to say in that situation because that stuff is kind of crazy. But bowler seems to be uncontested. Gets the disc back. Nope, retracts it, and it's a turnover. Understandable. When somebody's throwing that kind of a risky pass, you can't really call foul when everybody's underneath it. No. So now Briggs picking it up. And they're really starting to think in terms of nails in coffins right now. Wilson down the line to Briggs. Bad skid. Ever so slightly all over the place.
Oh, and across the field hammer.
Well, he's just going to do that, isn't he? It's kind of his thing. And it's been working out for him. So if anything, he's only going to become more enamored with the risky throws. Sanders sends it back into Wilson.
Oh.
Through the middle, bounces off the hands initially, but in the second asking, Alex Craig brings it down. Raz.
Tried to jump in, but went the wrong way.
That's Chris Baker, who was hungry for the score, but eventually obliges and gives it to Tom White.
And it is 13-9. I did think it was 12-9 before, but the scoreboard had not been updated for 2 points. Yeah.
Remember, at one point this game was 10-9. That is the power of Clapham. They just tend to do this in the second half of games. And that was, of course, BTW getting the score one more time for Clapham. Raz, Chris Baker tries to jump it in. Can't quite. Just stands up, thinks about what's he going to do, and throws the scooper. Beautifully done. So now, it does feel a little bit inevitable. Talk me out of it. Talk me into Bad Skid coming back and winning this, El-Shag. Come on. Yeah, I believe you can. I believe in a thing called faith.
Well, I just have a sneaking suspicion that at 76 minutes gone, 4 points down, that Bad Skid basically need to...
A miracle?
Yeah. Just need to get every single point from here on in and not let Clapham score at all.
They should have thought of that at the start of the game.
I know, I don't know why they waited till now.
It's a bit of a strange decision.
They shouldn't have, I don't know why they gave them so much of a head start. It's an unusual tactic. Bad Skid, quick to move the disc, which I kind of like, but has also lent them into a little bit of trouble on occasion with some errant passes.
Van Vogel absolutely lashes that one to Muller. That was
I like it a lot.
Pretty. Leaned back, opened up the cannon, and just launched it.
That was nice. I liked that. Oh, let's just watch that again. That was very beautiful. Great flow.
We send all our best wishes to Haynes as he walks by, glistening in the sun, blinding passerbys who look at him at the wrong angle. But he does seem to be going back out onto that pitch. I don't think he's going to play again for the rest of this game, but that far from precludes him from the rest of today, as they will have a semi-final later in the day. And something Clapham, while never a team to get ahead of themselves, you have to think inevitably a few of those minds are starting to think, all right, what can we do? How are we going to get prepared for the semi-final?
That's right. So, Bad Skid now, they've decided to go for almost a full team line.
That might actually work, yeah. If you just load up, throw like 20 lads on the line at once, they won't be able to score.
All right, they're finally sorting out the 7 people that are going to start on the field. And they know that this defense has to be better than it has been all game, because that's been the difference between the two teams, is that defensive pressure from Clapham.
Very much so, and they're going with a pure D-line here. And something we're seeing from a lot of European teams especially is they're putting all their best players on their O-line because they need those holds, which means the D-line is placed for the younger players to really try and prove themselves, to show that they pardon me, deserve a spot on this team. So let's see.
It's a nice pull.
Centers it to Mead. Mead, Parslow cuts from the back of the stack. Bad skid, poaching off ever so slightly, which is dangerous, dangerous business. Copley poaching off a Mum. You can see from where he's situated, he could dump or he could go deep at any second. And there's the deep. Mead thinks about the long shot, but goes against it instead. Opts to go with a little bit of give and go. Gives it to Ford. Ford wants the deep shot. He's got Yo underneath it. Show us what you can do.
Oh.
Well, if anything, I was a little lackluster. I've seen him get up much higher. Still, not much that can be done in that situation. He's a fantastic player, and I would have done the exact same thing, only with considerably less accuracy if I was Ford.
Still a good effort there by the bad skid defender to at least keep it competitive. But yeah, that Clapham receiver, all class. Great read on the disc and a beautiful put to bring the scores to 14-10 as we're hearing now the 5-minute jingle, I believe. And it's a respectable score. Oh, that was not the 5-minute, that was the end.
That was the end, yes, at the end of that.
I don't remember hearing the 5-minute jingle, so maybe that's not a thing today.
Something worth looking into is now we are going to have a game to 15, and despite it being closer than it was yesterday already, 14-10, it to me felt like it was, as a lot of Clapham games do, every point was a real battle, but then they go on this run where they just snap it off. There's a drop in near your own end zone, there's a big D that they get, there's a throwaway, they punch in almost immediately, and all of a sudden you're in a 4-point hole. It just happens.
That's right, they were just cruising before, and now they've changed up the gears.
Mission impossible. Cruise control. Let's see what Vad Vogel can do here. He's already proven himself well up to the challenge. Mueller, back to Vad Vogel. Thinks about the blade, decides against it on the second time. I disagree, I think you should blade them all.
I was like, I could not be any more in disagreement. I was so glad he didn't blade.
No. Blade, Mueller. Looking for options. Eventually gets one.
Good reach down low.
Very nice reach down. Briggs going to try and touch it, but it goes over his head.
Oh, what is happening back here?
For the score, I believe that's a Reinhardt.
Yeah, looking back, but no call made. Perhaps just a little bit of a disbelief there from the Clapham defender about the confident throw.
Very confident throw.
Might as well go for it though. 14-10 down. Now 14-11. Game to 15 either way. But this is crucial where they have their defensive line, which, as I've said, has not been their strongest point, but they do have, as you've mentioned, a few of their strongest players on, not necessarily known for their defense, but definitely for their tenacity when on the field.
Very true, and it's not been a terrible performance by a bad Skids D-line. They got 2 breaks.
Well, that's right. It's a respectable score, but compared to Clapham's defense,
yes,
definitely not as effective.
Not nearly as suffocating.
That's right.
Difference between choked with rope and silk, I imagine.
I'll imagine. Yes.
Keep it decent now, Al. There's no need for you to bring your lascivious private life onto the airwaves.
Yes, that's a nice word. As a beautiful pull comes in.
Andrew Jackson underneath it. AJ to Mum. Abrams searching, waiting patiently, stabs. That man will wait all day as Ford forges forward.
No call made there in that, but
no, very close. Lots of conversation. BTW gives it back to Ford. Sends it along to Abrams.
Oh no, the long option.
And the swing keeps going all the way around to Jackson. That was a fantastic swing that just ate up about a quarter of the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Bit more contact, bit more conversation.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Bad Skate have put Pritch on Ford, seemingly for this whole game. Oh, you're 19. Yeah, go mark the best player Europe's ever produced. No, we don't care. Mark him.
Right.
Beat him. And he's done a fairly good job. I mean, Ford still gets the disc. Once he has the disc, he can do whatever he wants with it. But, like,
That's right.
he's had to work hard to get that. I mean, he's still got the disc, but he's had to work hard to do it.
That's right. Bit of a baptism by fire there for the youngster.
You can see him hovering.
Yeah.
And there, Ford takes him to school ever so slightly with that stutter, stop, cut. Abrams.
Oh,
And here's the lockdown. Oh, he gets out of jail. British, a lot is being asked of him.
Oh, there
But
it
nothing
is.
necessary in the end as Haynes collects it for the score and the victory, although there seems to be a wee bit of conversation.
Oh, no.
No, we're going back off. Everybody back it off.
Back off, yep.
Game's not over. There was a call.
All right, so just looking for the signals for what that call was. Oh, maybe they're disputing whether he was in when he caught it. This might
No,
see
he
on
was definitely in.
No, I
if
thought
that's
he was
what they're asking.
definitely in, but
Is that what they're asking?
I don't know.
Because they can ask us.
So not too sure. Okay, so does look like it's going back, and that score will not
We can see
count.
the repeat here. This is Jackson. He has Haynes. Always in. Always very in.
Yeah, so okay. Not too sure what's going on there.
Well, Jackson with about 90% open side in front of him. Abrams attacks the space. Ford hips and hops.
Oh,
Jukes
there-
and jives. That's
there
not
it
a great
is.
throw, but it's good enough. And they'll take it. The second time of asking. Jackson delivers. 15-11.
Respectable.
2-point performance improvement. Good showing by Badskid. 7-7 at one point. A lot of effort, a lot of heart, but like you said, their defense was just never quite as stifling as Clapham's is capable of being. The difference between being in a car on a hot day and the window cracked or not. So, Clapham defeat another opponent, move on to the semi-finals. Badskid make a good account of themselves, learn some hard lessons and go away to recover in the bottom part of the top bracket. And we move on to the mixed division. We'll be handing you over to the very capable hands of Hilary Holmes and, well, I suppose we'll take Benji if he's all that's going. So, it's been my pleasure to be Lorcan Murray.
I'm Mel Shack.
And we will see you at the next game. Bye.
Alti.tv